What is happening, everybody? It's your boy, the Noob. Last weekend, Netflix finally dropped their Ghost in the Shell animated series that they were in charge of. And I gotta tell you, after watching the first 3 episodes, I only have one thing to say. What the fuck? Seriously, Netflix, what the fuck have you done to this classic, well-loved animated series? Now, you know, back last year when they had the trailer come out, I did a little video on it, just discussing my first thoughts on this small teaser trailer that I saw. Now, I didn't give it a lot of hope because they decided that they were going to do the 3D CG animation. And unfortunately, after watching the first 3 episodes of this series, I can say my feelings were right, unfortunately. This is Ghost in the Shell, Standalone Complex 2045. This is a continuation of the Ghost in the Shell standalone series, which I was a big fan of back in the day. I loved Ghost in the Shell. Originally, I didn't like the movie because I didn't like it, but I grew to like it when I watched Standalone Complex. So when I heard that Netflix was going to be bringing this out, I was extremely hyped. Unfortunately, after seeing the teaser trailer and now seeing the first 3 episodes, I can say I can't continue the series. I really can't. I tried. It was a struggle just to get through the first 3 episodes, and by the end of the 3rd episode, I was like, nope, I can't. Let's talk about the animation. The 3D CG animation is by far some of the worst that I have seen in a while. The animation, me and other folks have come to realize, look worse than some early PS2 and Xbox 360 animation. It is just terrible. The walking animation feels stiff. The characters, they look very plasticky. I mean, look at the Major. Really look at the Major. They went from her looking like this to this. And I gotta say, I am not liking the upgrade that Netflix has done. She looks stiff. She doesn't move right. And her hair in a lot of scenes looks plasticky. She looks like a cheap dollar store off knockoff hairpiece. And now, I'm sorry, let's talk about Bato. Bato was one of those characters I really loved. He was big, he was muscular. I love his eyes. I love the way they did his face and his hair. But in this one, look at his hair. It just looks plastic. And I'm sorry, for some reason when watching this, my brain kept going back to Toy Soldiers with Tommy Lee Jones as the voice of the male villain. Here's a picture of Bato, and here's a picture of his character. For some reason, my brain just keeps thinking of that. Now, I will say, the only characters that seem to get kind of an upgrade from this is the robots, the Tachikomas, I believe they're called. The blue mech things that they ride in that seem to have their own personality. They actually kind of benefit from this 3D CG animation because they kind of look more realish. And when they're actually in the field moving around fighting, it actually kind of feels real. And now, speaking of the fights, just watching these, they didn't have the same impact as it did back in the original standalone complex. The fighting doesn't feel right. The way that they look at the characters when like zooming in on them through their prosthetics and stuff, they kind of feel like old Halo or, Fallout things. The characters are highlighted in certain colors. Their weapons are highlighted red. It felt like I was watching a very poor rendering of a game. And now, can we talk about the cyber-tech feel of the towns? Now, first of all, the Major in the group, they're in South America or someplace. They're in a desert area, so you don't really see this. But when you go back to Tokyo, it no longer feels futuristic to me. Unfortunately, it feels like a carbon copy of Blade Runner. There's when they're walking around, all these advertisements and stuff are seen through their prosthetics. It just didn't feel right. The old school one, it felt like that could have been the future. It was high-tech-ish, but not uberly over the top to where it would be annoying. This, it just felt annoying. There was even a character in this. She was just some vendor, but she kept waving her hand like she was buzzing away flies. You come to realize later on she's swatting away ads. I mean, that just seems annoying as fuck. And with Ghost in the Shell, normally you get kind of this espionage kind of feel. There's a lot of hacking, there's a lot of stealth, there's a lot of, you know, secret underground, yada yada yada. This felt like Michael Bay had touched it. There was just a lot of gunfight, explosions, fighting. It wasn't really the stealthy kind of espionage thing that I got used to in Standalone Complex. There was more gunplay in this than I would have preferred. And I admit, I like gunplay, especially when it's done right. But this was not done right. This was just showing what they could do with explosions and gunfire and what they could do with the 3D CG animation. And I didn't like it. And the story I'm not really liking either. Like I said, I could only get through 3 episodes, but like the Major and her team, they're no longer with Sector 9 because Sector 9 doesn't exist. They're free ops. They're doing a mission. They fail a mission, and then some NSA, CIA, Agent Smith-looking motherfucker shows up and basically says, you're going to come work with us or we're going to kill them. And then later on you find out he's going to kill them anyways once the mission's done. It just bored me. I honestly did not like this. And I try to give animes a shot. I really do. But like I said, I got through 3 episodes and I just threw up my hands and said, fuck it. I'm done. I can't watch it. Netflix, I know you are getting into the anime field. You are putting your name on stuff. You're actually creating original content. And you are doing good in some aspects. And I gave you a shot. I mean, you've got your name on things like Violet Evergarden, 7 Deadly Sins. You have got a great list of anime, and you seem to know where you want to throw your money. But then every now and then you throw out a dud, and this was a dud. And this is not a good way to do 3D CG animation. Yes, it can be beneficial if done right. This was a great example of how it's done wrong. Folks, I don't know if you've actually attempted to give this anime a shot yet. It's new. It only came out last week. And if you're willing to sit through it and try to get past the 3D CG animation, go ahead and try. I personally could not get through it, which is a shame because, like I said, I love Ghost in the Shell. I've watched all the movies and anything that I've seen on it, but this was something I just couldn't, which is so sad. Will I give it another shot later on? I may, but it may be something where I watch 1 episode and then I come back a month later. I don't know. There's not a big hope for me checking it out in the future. Well, folks, thank you for listening to me ramble about my disappointing adventures with the Netflix version of Ghost in the Shell. What about you, folks? Have you attempted to watch this? Have you finished it? Did you give up like me? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let me know in the comments below. Anyways, folks, I'm the Noob. Thank you for joining me, and I'll catch y'all later. See ya.